reflects every locality, entities and places which are interesting to their people when they reflect their culture and history, etc. Toratau is this exact entity. It's a unique natural entity, and it plays a great role in the history of the people who live on this territory. That is why we really hope that the immense plans that have been developed with the laboratory of Mr. Kapkov are going to become the reality. Please, your attention to the screen. The Republic of Bashkortostan is located in the heart of Eurasia. This is the land where people remember and cherish their history. The land which amazes on and on. Its nature attracts tourists from all over the world in order to preserve the traditions and culture and to develop economy of the region. Bashkortostan creates geoparks, a unified territory controlled on the basis of a concept of education and sustainable development. Geopark includes geological monuments of the world significance, protected areas, and significant places for history and economy. UNESCO has organized a global network of geoparks consisting of 147 geoparks in all the parts of the world. Geopark Toratau received its status in 2019. Geopark Toratau is planning to apply in 2020 to get the status. Its history started on the 12th of December 2018 when the head of Republic, Mr. Habirov, signed a decree to create a new geopark. Its sizes are amazing. Natural and historical legacy from the ancient Sarmats until today's man is preserved there. Mountains of Taratau and Yuratau are located there, which are attracting the attention of all the people all over the world. The first golden nail is located here. And of course, Usolko is located here. Every person can get acquainted with traditions of the ages, taste local cuisine, and find out about crafts. Every single person can pass through dozens of touristic routes, study a cave with relict ice, or maybe to conquer the heights of a mountain. The geopark preserves nature as it is, to develop tourism on a world level, to hold scientific and educational programs, to bring up the new generation, to create workplaces and take care of people. And people can overcome lots of things when they are united by one idea. Toratau is creating the partnership network of entrepreneurs, experts, state activists, and scientific community. Being part of the global network of UNESCO is going to help Toratau to pronounce itself in the whole world. This is the sacred symbol and the soul of Bashkir people. The heart of Eurasia beats here. Well, dear colleagues, right now, let us pass on from the precious minerals and resources and let us get back to the first post-pandemic forum. And it's a great pleasure for me to see you offline and not online. I'm really happy that very prominent guests have come here to the Republic. Each of us during these months, being those who are here on this tribune and those who are here in the hall, have become the crisis managers. All of us have felt this storm which actually covered the whole world. And each one of us has personal experience of crisis management. And as I see it, each one of us made his own conclusions on what they have been doing, especially people with power. And each one of us have an idea how the world is going to develop after the pandemic. I give floor to Mr. Khabirov, who is going to tell us what plans are there in the Republic, what we're going to do, and how the Republic is going to develop during the forthcoming years. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome all of our guests to our hospitable land. Indeed, we're holding this forum after a great time gap. This forum is the sign of strength between people, how we want to share our intellectual potential, our projects. And many people who have come here, I really hope that you are going to enjoy this cooperation. When we were planning the forum, we understood the risks. However, we decided that we were hoping that we're going to be sensible, we're going to take care of each other. That is why we have a great reason to have a great chance to work together offline and not online. I will speak shortly. I just wanted to say that indeed our republic, our city and cities are planning to create peaceful, comfortable and wonderful conditions for our citizens. That's the priority of our work, because our citizens who are going to leave their homes and enter and exit their homes and apartment buildings to take a look at the territory around their houses. So that is our priority, to make this space comfortable. And I'm not going to amaze you with some new revelations. Everything is rather easy in this regard, because we're starting to work stage by stage, starting from the smallest down to the biggest ones. I would like to share that this with you. This year is called the Year of Aesthetics of our living territories. People are asking us, so this is the beautiful name, and what do you want to achieve? And I say, I know that during this year we are going to renovate all the fences in all the houses in our cities and villages, because indeed sometimes you are traveling around various villages, you can see that fences are damaged or even demolished, and we are starting to work there. We're removing old equipment, old trees, we're cutting grass and so on. So this is the easiest and the first step. This is called aesthetics, but this is the beginning of our work, and we are also implementing great projects. Sometimes they are taking your breath away, and we have already discussed them. You will have a great chance to take a look at one of the parks. It is not too big, so in general it's about 7 hectares, but in one park we did our best to show what it should look like, what materials should be used, how we should design it, and the most important, all of our actions are accompanied by our citizens and everything in their interest. And it's a great chance for us to speak about the forms and methods of revealing what is important to our citizens, to do something they really require, not to come up with some abstract ideas. Thank you very much once again. I'll be short because we have very interesting speakers today. That is why I give floor to our guests. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would really like to ask Mr. Falkov, Minister of Science and Higher Education of the Russian Federation. You, being a minister, why are you here at the Urban Forum? Because we have discussed that the cities are not only transport logistics system, cities are people who live there. There are new urban experts, and cities are actively competing for people who work, who create, pay taxes, create something, invent something. To your point of view, What are the measures which should be taken in the sphere of public administration in order to have more experts, more people who are professionals, who pay taxes, who have requirements for the authorities? My enthusiasm of solving the tasks and so they could be involved in the decision-making process. I believe that the answer to this question is very simple. Because the government should give an impetus and support universities, because it's a unique cooperation which was declared on another session. In 20th century, universities were places for training personnel, but now university is a driver of regional and urban development. It's a very common phrase, but what's behind it? Each region, and it's a global trend, resolves new problem to attract more talented people and to lose less talented people. The balance is necessary. It's better than many people come from somewhere else and stay here. We can build wonderful houses, buildings, facilities, provide atmosphere. But if we do not have agenda, if we do not have dense communications, interesting projects, because university is responsible for something and scientific institutions are also responsible, creative industry, which is related with them, they attract interesting people. As a result, when we have interesting projects within the city or within the regions, many people from other parts of our planet, of our country, are willing to come here. Returning back to the question you asked, public administration needs to include initiatives of development of universities. And if we follow this idea, Ministry of Science and Higher Education on the 5th of June on the platform of Moscow State University, we announced new strategic leadership program aimed at helping management teams of universities to create strong consortiums and to invent and invest in the territories where they are located to support in agenda formation process, to create projects attracting new people. First of all, Mr. Khabirov told about that, to make attractive Russian cities, Russian regions. Thank you very much for such an expanded, detailed answer, Mr. Falkov. I hope that Ufa will have such a university and such vertical on development of higher and vocational education. And here we have Pier Francesco Maran, Vice Mayor of Milan, in charge of urban planning, environment, ecology, and agriculture. Mr. Maran, I have a question to you. You know that Italy was one of the countries mostly hit by a pandemic. Economic and social connections and ties were ruined, including within the country. And now the country is overcoming the crisis and demonstrating the optimism, which is very common for Italians. What trends in urban development and new post-COVID reality you see? What are the tasks the municipality of Milan, which is a touristic educational center, has? What do you think? How soon you will return to the pre-pandemic situation, when you will have tourism, normal life, atmosphere of Italian city, which makes Italy so famous?
Good morning. First, thank you for your invite. I hope to come personally next time to your urban forum and to visit your city. Well, of course, we hope that it will be a sort of first in, first out And as Italy and also Milan was the first European cities to be hit by COVID, and now we are trying to get out. It's not that easy. We also approved a city strategy for the future. Fortunately, long-term investments are still here. Milan, we lost the Winter Olympic Game 2026. In January 2020, we were at the top of our economical development as far as we know Milan in the last decades. So, of course, there is a stop. Last year, we got 10 million of visitors. I don't know if we will overcome 1 million this year, and tourism, business tourism is important for our city. We have an important design week, we have an important fashion week. It's a city that was so interesting for shopping, for events. We think that this summer will be for sure different. Probably we will start to have some tourism, but just a few, no big events and no medium events. We think that the future of the main cities is so connected. The main problem we have in Milan, it's the same we have in the other important world cities. If tourism is stopped, it's stopped for everybody. We are working on the fact that Milan will be in the first part of cities to be competitive when borders are opened again. So we have events starting again from this autumn. Of course, we are, as everybody, we are worried on the fact that there could be a second lockdown. And if it will be a second lockdown, it will be a problem in Milan, but it will be a problem elsewhere. Everybody is scared about it. But we should be ready to start again if we can manage the problem. Of course, we made many efforts in Italy, as in Russia, as everywhere, to get more ready for a second event. We are ready to prevent small situation of positive cases of COVID. So we think we can reduce the negative effect of new problems in autumn, and we think we will not have the same problem we had this spring everywhere. But we have to get ready on even on the positive scenario, that we have a few cases, that we can manage it, that people can go back for tourism and for business. That is an important part of our economy. So the long-term investments are going on. We are trying to manage the fact also of smart working that was so important to reduce negative effect of COVID in the last months. Actually, we have a sort of anticipation of summer in our city. So many people, especially people with kids, they went to work elsewhere, to the mountain, to the sea. You can be connected, you can work the same, but of course, this couldn't be the future of the life of every city, including Milan. So we are also managing the fact that from September, even on offices, people will go back to their workplace more than now, because we have to push the economy of the city. So more people go to work. Let's go back to tourism. Let's go back to economical tourism, of course, in the respect of every health situation. That is what we are trying to do to manage a 2020 that will be hard in Milan, but everywhere. And on the idea that if we don't have a second lockdown, it's possible and it's probable then from December, economies start to go back to the one we know the year before.
about projects. In any case, the implementation of the program is actually going on even faster than last year. Maybe you have started before that. Yes, during the pandemic, almost in every entity, everything went on working. So and works and the amount of works has not been decreased. And of course, gentrification of houses is still on. And we didn't do a full capital renovation, and especially in the flats. But the outside territory have been renovated. We went on doing that, and we should point out that all the entities have went on working and haven't stopped their working. This is to answer your question. And indeed, after pandemic, and I really hope that there won't be a second wave, we learn how to live in a proper way. So who knew in March that we would be wearing masks and gloves in the beginning of March? I mean, everybody was rather skeptical and saw it as something in a different way. Do we need to go to the embankment, or maybe we should work around our own house? So when the demand for the public spaces is increasing, there have to be special territories for animals. And we see it right now, and the people are addressing us on this matter. And for example, one of the fields where the money have to be dedicated, so we are checking the territory. If there has to be a square or something, so we need to renovate the territory. If the territory around the house is being gentrified, then we need to add some more spaces and places. So the process of making decisions has changed. We're recommending to develop online platforms to vote for renovation of various places. I think that pandemic has taught something new to us. So we should vote for something online. So and we need to have a particular amount of urns and trash bins, so and special places for dogs, and this is working on, and we are working with various agencies for healthcare, making decisions, and situation has changed, and it's changing on and on. This is not only the territory around the houses, so it's also the whole regions of the cities. We started this program in 2017, but this connection between various buildings and around the territories around it have been lost. As Mr. Khabirov said, so of course everything has to be comfortable. We're talking about the houses, the insides of the house and outside of the house, the way we are getting to our jobs. The process of getting to our jobs and workplaces has changed as well. So, and the distance has changed. Well, I'm talking about Moscow right now, but I think that it is the same in all the entities of Russian Federation. Right now, everything is rebuilding, and I think that the matters that have been discussed on the big platform should influence the way we approach this matter. And of course, we have been going towards this goal, but the situation which we had led us to synchronizing all the projects in the cities. That is not only the houses and habitation, this is the public transport, this is digitalization of various aspects of our lives, and everything has to be simultaneous and synchronized, because we shouldn't live on the construction ground, you know. A year ago I was vice minister and I came to Ufa and I was taken to one of the yards near the house. So the program Bashkir Yards, and people know what it is. People were saying, you know how good it is right now, so we have been replacing elevators and replacing infrastructure and changing things, and only after that we build some platforms for children and so on, and it was made within 1 year. And actually, if we took a look at the capital renovations, so all of the things are going to be done only in 5 years, and then another thing would be done in 5 years, and so on. So effect on the citizens is great. All the solutions on the public spaces have to be consulted with had to be discussed with the citizens. I would like to remind you that 3/4 of citizens of Russian Federation are the citizens of cities, and this is a great factor for our country because we have 1,118 cities, and the amount is growing. In 2018, when we started calculating it, the index of cityscape, we had 1,114 cities, and everything is growing, and of course the population is becoming denser in the cities, the conglomerations are creating, so we need to work on complex development of territories. Your exhibition is very good. So when we saw the development plans for Ufa, we understand how the government of Republic understands how the city is going to be developing. I really like the city, I really love it, and I love coming here. All the decisions are made based on the discussion with the citizens, and I think that this is the main task for us as the leaders of the country, of the entities of Russian Federation. We need to hear the people, their opinion, and to do only things discussed with them. That's it, I guess.
Thank you very much. I would like to say that please come often to Ufa, because it's much more interesting than in Kazan. I apologize, but taking the advantage of being host of the event, it's a very interesting observation. I would like to share it with you. Republic of Bashkortostan has almost 40% of population involved in agriculture. When I address to the population, when I talk to them, the world has changed, and people say, we would like to have a square here, we would like to have a garden here. Which square, which alley? You just go outside your house and you see the forest. No. Civilization comes to villages, come to settlements. They need squares, they need lighting, they need pavements. That's very important. But I need to say another thing. We, heads of regions, are communicating, and we have many guests here. I would like to thank and you, Vladimir, and Ministry for a very efficient work. We believe that Ministry is a very efficient team, and the projects which you are developing is comfortable urban environment, competition of small towns, which provides a chance for the second life and the movement of these towns. It's a great initiative. We will be happy if the financing will doubled or increased by 3 times next year. Thank you very much. I believe that all the audience will join this. We are working on that, yes, and probably soon you will learn something. I cannot announce it at the moment, but it's in terms of financing. Dear colleagues, we have a mayor of Izmir, the 3rd city of Turkey, is here with us on video conferences. I think it's something, the Izmir city is very similar to Ufa because it's ancient city, provided global civilization, many poets. It's considered to be the motherland of Homer. Mr. Tunç Soyer, you have such a rich history with lots of different moments. How do you cope with the challenges of the new world? How the mentality of Turkish people changing? How do you feel in this danger, under this dangerous condition, which is pandemic? And what plans does the city have for the development?
Okay, thank you, first of all, for the invitation. And I would like to mention that it's a big honor for me to be in this event. So I would like to thank to all of you first. And the second thing I want to mention is I heard a lot of invitation to Ufa, and at the same time I also want to invite everyone to Izmir. First of all, I would like to say this. Another thing is this pandemic process is a big trauma, and it's a big trauma for all humanity. And this pandemic, unfortunately, taught us that the importance of nature, to take care of the nature, is one of our essential duties. First of all, we have to understand how important it is. The second thing is the safety and the hygiene of the environment. So besides the touristical values, besides the historical values, or whatever we have in our geography, the protection of nature and the standards of hygiene and safety are most important values. So we have to take care of those criteria. Our competition between the cities will be mostly about the standards of hygiene, the criteria of hygiene. If the people don't feel safe in your city, it means that there is nothing to do with your historical values. There is nothing to do with your touristical values. So you have to take care of your nature, and you have to take care of the hygiene and safety standards. What we are doing most is about those two topics, because we know that Homer years of we have touristical values, but the most important thing after this pandemic is our nature, because we understood that if the health of our planet is lost, we cannot be safe. We have to take care of our planet first. The health of our planet is our main duty. So we have to take care of its health. This means it's like the human body. The temperature of our body is 37 degrees. And if it goes up to 38, then we become sick. Our planet is also the same situation. If it is warming globally increases, then we cannot be in health. We cannot stay healthy. So the main thing, what we are doing in this normalization process, is to protect our nature more than before, and to respect to the criteria of hygiene and safety. For this reason, we established new institutions and new legislation about the standards of hygiene and safety. And all the restaurants, hotels, all the accommodation places are now trying to achieve those standards and compete each other how they achieve those standards. So this is a new normalization, a new city for us. Before, we have different priorities, but now our main priority is to protect our nature, the city's nature. I mean, the underground sources, the rivers, the air quality. We are trying to keep those values as most as we can. And at the same time, we are trying to change our way of living, our habits, to adapt ourselves to this hygiene criteria and standards.
Спасибо, господин мэр.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
I, I think this is a great common task for all the humanity, and based on your words, I would like to give floor to Mr. Ryazansky, the head vice chairman of the Committee of the Council of Federation on Social Policy, the chairman of the Russian organization Council Union of Retired People of Russia. We know that people of older age are taken care of by the government and by everybody. So we have been doing the study in the Moscow region, and most of people have actually decreased their contact with their elderly people. And I think that right now, after the pandemic, the social group of retired people is not going to be suffering the losses and the absence of attention as it was before. So how do you see how these groups of citizens are going to be supported? So you see we have special programs. How do you see new social policies addressed to the people of older age? Thank you very much. The world, the planet, and our country are becoming older, and that's the proven fact. Proven. Because we started living for longer, the healthcare is developing, the environment is increasing, and the healthcare, the medical services are better. Attention is much more prominent to supporting both physical activity and all the rest. And indeed, gradually, we can see how the amount of elderly people is increasing. Of course, it also brings the problem of giving birth to children. That is why the percentage of the elderly people, I'm talking about those who are older than 60 years old. So, and right now we are living a unique period in time, because the process of transferring to the retired age has been without any preparation from the point of view of adapting to the modern reality. Of course, booming development of information technologies, increased interest towards travels, towards learning new places, making discoveries, and so on. This is creating the gap between the information technology from the big socium of people, and we can see the results of it. And of course, the government is becoming even more attentive during the last several years towards the elderly people, for them to receive the same opportunities as all the younger generations. And non-commercial organizations, state bodies, are asking themselves if we should include the elderly people into the system of longevity, and a new strategy has been developed. We all became the witnesses of a unique event when elderly people started demonstrating an assured tendency towards activity and the willingness to remain active participants of all the processes inside the community and population. One thing is when you have to be well fit, ready to answer the questions which are put by the city, by your employer, and so on. So, and the other thing is when we are getting ready for another social environment, and we suggested the older people a set of special programs which are going to help them remain in tone. We are talking about programs of physical activity, and so when on the finish line we are holding various festivals, we are holding the Spartakiade of retired people of Russia, and it's a great example. The sixth sporting events and competition held here in the Republic of Bashkortostan, in the capital. So we saw athletes, amateur athletes. I would like to draw your attention to this fact. We're not talking about professional athletes here. We are talking about amateurs who are just regular retired people who are not alienated in terms of sports and athletic development. 9 participants in each team, and of course we are choosing various sports events which could reflect their capacity. Of course, another thing is the intellect. We need to educate people in terms of computers, and just the same thing has to be done for the people who would like to become more educated in the field of computing. Several millions of people have been self-educated in order to motivate them. We are also talking about universities for elderly people. We suggested holding various championships among the retired people. And one of these championships was held in Kirov. And this year, well, you know what is happening this year, so we are holding this championship online. 70 regions have already applied to take part in this championship. The headquarters is Plekhanov University. I am mentioning it for the minister, actually. We will be there, it's going to be headquarters, and everything will be held online for those who have started the computers themselves. And the third component, which is very important for the elderly people. So I'm reminding you, one thing is physical activity, another thing is intellect, something for their soul. Traditional choir singing, that's what we suggested. We will have a special event which will be in Orlov region most likely. So these are the 3 components for active longevity. So these are the means to implement it. Speaking about a factor which you might not know, Sergey, why elderly people during the pandemic haven't suffered so much? Though we actually expected that older people are going to suffer even greater losses. I think I consider a very interesting hypothesis in this case. You see, the older people faced the problem of gene-modified products on a very late stage. That is why the immunity of these people has become much better compared to the younger people. Europe and States have faced this problem of gene-modified products, have faced this earlier. That is why I think our green products is the sustainability which is going to support the immunity of our nation on the consistent level. This is one of the lessons which was taught to us by the pandemic. Yes, this is one of the advertisements of the Republic, because we need to eat our own products, so to say. Yes, and I think it's going to be our national legacy. Thank you very much. It's very important for us what you are doing right now, because at some point all of us are going to join the Union of Retired People, and the more sustainable this organization is going to be, the better is going to be our joining of this organization. I give floor to Irina Makeyeva, a very fragile and gentle woman who is actually carrying the weight of a very big program. She is developing Mono Cities, vice chairman of the state corporation Razvitiye Web, and the efforts indeed, and you need to arrange things with local government, with big enterprises, which are sometimes successful, sometimes not. And in July of this year, you are launching the educational program for 100 teams in Russian cities in order to save time of our participants. So this pen is going to be used to sign the agreement between Web and the Republic of Bashkortostan. The two teams are going to join their efforts, and they're going to go to Moscow, to Skolkovo University, to learn, to get new competences. And will there be new tasks within the program of the education? So adaptation to new reality and how to react to it. Because when you were creating this program, you couldn't even imagine that such events are going to happen all over the world. So how the program is going to change, and what are you going to teach people from Bashkortostan there?
Thank you very much, dear friends. Yes, indeed. It's a very significant event. When we were walking to this hall of the plenary session, we decided to save time of the participants of this forum. And by that, there was preliminary work done, of course, but easily and simply we provided an opportunity for two large cities of Bashkortostan to receive, to obtain the super education which will allow to change the cities dramatically. When we were walking, when we were visiting an exhibition, I asked, what is that project? Where is it from? The basics for a change in the cities is present. All we need is knowledge, banking knowledge, which should be combined with your experience and your knowledge. You are heads of the cities, mayors, heads of the regions, and within the educational program we need to provide financing. This program will be launched in June. 100 major cities are participating from Bashkortostan. These are Ufa and Sterlitamak. Why we have decided to launch this program? I can see 6 heads of mono cities. Komirtau, heads of the mono cities, please raise your hands and please take your masks off. Azamat, please, mono cities. Yes, mono, I mean mono cities. When we see that after this training, mono cities heads made breakthroughs in economy, this was the major reason why the large cities need to follow the steps of mono cities. And now we have a lot of things to learn. Why Web have chosen this urban subject for development? I really enjoyed when you said that in the morning a person wakes up, goes to office, sees the house. I was thinking like this, but before. First of all, you wake up, you open a tap. In a bathroom you need clean water. You open the window and you need to see clean street and without any smell of trash. And this is how you started in the morning when you go to office, and when you go back the city should be lightened. Every person should feel safe in the city. After that, just following a citizen, just following each of us, we need to understand what we shall do in order to provide good conditions. It means housing and utilities, transport, hot and cold water. If you take the bus which is broken, which is old, nothing will make you happy. Good transportation means clean streets, processing of waste, center of the city. Very often when we were discussing it in the morning, the center of the city is a great place, but you need sometimes you have there these semi-demolished buildings. You need to redevelop the territory. All these things are part of the program where 100 of the cities will be involved. I'm also head of the Mono Cities Development Foundation. I would like to praise the heads. I had meetings with 6 heads of these mono cities, but on the other hand, I would like to wish you not to stop, because this impetus after training, everything was boiling, everything was developing, the motor started, and now you have achieved something, and that's it. Heads of the mono cities, especially for you, I address to you, dear friends, we have new support measures. We are involved in leasing of urban transport. We need to take care of social infrastructure, facilities for small cities with population of no more than 50,000 people. We will finance it. If we build it, it will be a subsidy. We will join the projects of public-private partnership, and we together will change the centers of the cities. All these requires financing. We have financing. All we need is time, intention, and projects. And of course, we have cheap loans for entrepreneurs. This is what we need to work on with banks which provide short-term guarantees. Our loan is for 15 years period, and interest and rate is 0. If you do not have development, it's your fault. Let us develop entrepreneurship together so people stay in the mono cities and even come back, as we can see now. We have a lot of things to do, and maybe it looks difficult, but it's not. Thank you, Irina, and please challenge us more often. At the end of this session, you will summarize, because you are one of the key experts in the country, member of the team of Analytical Center. You are expert in long-term forecasts. You can forecast long-term trends, which of course depend on pandemic situation and which are oriented at different regions, and I believe that Bashkortostan is also involved in development program of region development. What are the key conclusions? What tasks do we have? I mean the government of the Russian Federation, regional government, etc. after the pandemic ends. Thank you very much.
Dear participants of the forum, I would like to start with a little bit different thing. Within this urban forum, I would like to tell you about our analytical center within working with big data framework. As a part of the national project National Economy and national project Habitats for the Cities, which is being taken care of by the Ministry of Construction. We are really active on working with big data. In particular, I would like to speak about national system of processing the data. This is the system which is founded on a great analytical work with big data, including those on development of cityscapes. Any city is thriving to become smart city, but it cannot be evaluated based on the QR codes at the historic places or Wi-Fi. Of course, it is hard to live without those things. Everybody got used to it and it's very convenient. However, I would like to remind you that national system of controlling data is going to unite state data and all the other types of data, those which are created by the government and state sector, in order to use them for various solutions, both business and the state body within the city control and the management. So what possibilities does it give us? First of all, I'm talking about the system and consistency of the data, or the quality of data, and of course single input of the data, however multiple usage of the data, the cooperation of all the participants of the process, and the unified mechanism. Smart cities are going to be more resilient in the future, considering the utilities and other city systems. In the future, The data accumulation, which is going to be used for our work when we're talking about the cities and mono cities and many more cities. This data is going to help us to optimize the processes held within the city, starting with public transport, with taking care of various recreational areas and so on. So how does it work in short? We're not talking about personal data, we're talking about depersonalization of data. Only depersonalized data, nothing personal. Control over the entrance, so unified tickets, which you can see in the Republic as well, for example. It helps to analyze how busy the public transport is. The buses, the trams and so on. It will help to analyze everything and to optimize the movement of all the transports in the city and around it, to evaluate whether the transport is empty in some places and to crowd it in other places, especially if the transport is not prepared well enough without any conditioning system. So, you know, it's not too much of a pleasure to ride in those buses. Speaking of development of the region in general, these depersonalized data are going to help to optimize the touristic routes within the Republic and in general. Sorry, I just wanted to take a look at some statistical data. Within the framework of Smart City, we implemented a lot of projects. In 2019, in Russia, we implemented 2,500 solutions for the smart cities. If we're talking about the field of application, 40% of the solutions is automation of buildings, about 33% on digitizing the energy and heat, 22% for monitoring of public security, and about 27% for the waste processing. The volume of the market for the smart cities by the end of 2019 is more than 82 billion rubles. The main tool of the project is a wide implementation of high-tech technologies, engineering solutions in the utility sector. Currently, online register is listing more than 300 successful projects. What I want to say is, well, okay, thank you very much, Konstantin. In order for you to analyze things, we still have a forum of real deeds, so we're going to sign lots of documents after this panel. But on behalf of the Ministry of Construction, we still have something to say. In any case, we need to finish at something positive. Maxim, would you like to say about the surprises which you prepared for the workers of Bashkortostan? Yes, as signed by the Minister of Agriculture, we would like to congratulate you and to award the Ministry of Construction of Russia. We would like to award the new award to the Republic of Bashkortostan, which is developing cities. And I would like to get to the award ceremony. Well, I think that the prizes will be lots of those if the ministry is going to take care of this forum. Yes, many cities have such forums, but we have the first international forum, a very complicated one, and it's going to continue. So this is not the end of the forum, it's only the middle, so it's going to go on tomorrow as well. And I wanted to express my gratitude to the Republic and to the team which created this forum in 3 weeks. So thank you very much to the head of the Republic, to those who organized this, who brought these wonderful people. The forum is still working, and we are waiting for you until the whole evening. We will have very interesting session, and we will have an informal program actually. Actually, the forum is working all around the city. We have the art square. We're discussing what is the city atmosphere and environment, and we're inviting there as well. So let's get to the award ceremony there. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite Vice Minister of Construction and Habitation of Russian Federation, Maxim Yegorov, for input into creation and development of rural and urban territories. We express gratitude from the Ministry of Agriculture and to Gorbachev Alexei. Krasnokamsk region of Republic of Bashkortostan. Gratitude is expressed to Ramil Nurdin, master of Tatashlinsky Electricity Seti from Verkhny Tatashlinsky village. Gratitude is expressed to Pribitov Mikhail from Trest Bashkastroy, Ufa. Gratitude is expressed to Marat Saitov, a construction working from construction company number 3 from Tuymazir, Republic of Bashkortostan. Gratitude is expressed to Ruslan Sarvarov, stonemason from Neftekamsk, Stroy Zakashik, Republic of Bashkortostan, Neftekamsk. Irina Tazidinova, head of the architecture and construction company from Yanaul region of Republic of Bashkortostan. Gratitude is expressed to Rushat Haidarov, leading engineer of the Technical Supervision Department of the Service of the Customer and Technical Supervision of Gentrification of Ufa City. The ceremony is over. Thank you. Thank you, dear colleagues. We are going to have signing of documents, and all the rest of the sections are going to work as planned. Ladies and gentlemen, in few minutes the ceremony of signing of agreements is going to commence in the corresponding area.
Procedure. Please welcome